All right.
Hi, everybody. Hey, my name is Ruben Hazlett. I'm with the Working Families Party on our national digital team. I'm here in our national headquarters in Brooklyn, New York. But I am joined via Google Hangout with Paige Lower out in Sioux City. How's it going, Paige?
It's going awesome. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Hundreds of people RSVP'd to get on to watch this live streaming broadcast. And also, Paige, you're joined by a super awesome, super volunteer, Claudia Zavala, right? Hi, Claudia. Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad you're able to make it on the call. So this is our sort of behind the scenes look at the Iowa campaign for Bernie and what it's been like going on the ground. You guys are out in Sioux City. How long have you guys been on the campaign so far?
So I'll start. So I came out here with another one of our staffers. We got here after a 2-day trek from Baltimore to Sioux City. And so we got here on the 15th. So we're coming up on our 2-week mark here, which is awesome because tomorrow starts our Get Out the Caucus, which is huge. So we came at the best time ever.
I'm actually from here, from Sioux City, and I started volunteering for the campaign in September. So yeah, I've been here quite a good time, but this is as exciting as it gets right now with the caucuses right on the corner.
Heck yeah, September is a long time. So what was the sort of work you've been doing when you started, and how's that different from now?
When I started, there was, it's actually not too different from what I'm doing now. Making phone calls is what I've done the most, I think. Making phone calls to try to identify Bernie supporters. And knocking doors as well, doing the same thing.
Heck yeah, that's amazing. It's it is sort of such a huge scope since this is a presidential campaign, to know that folks have been on the ground for that long. That's kind of amazing. So I wanted to sort of share with everybody who's watching from home who might not have had the experience to be on a whirlwind presidential election campaign about what it's like day in, day out. If you two could walk us through a typical day on the Iowa campaign for Bernie.
Sure. So we come in here, staff usually gets in here about 9:30, and then volunteers will trickle in, no later than 10:30, and then we'll always send a crew out to knock doors. And then we also have then a crew here that is calling phones, and it's always kind of throughout the day. We'll always have people coming in and out, either people coming in, stopping in just to see the campaign office and talk to us, or volunteers coming in to again make phone calls, help get. Right now we're doing a lot more prep work, getting stuff ready for Get Out the Caucus, so getting all that lit together and everything. And yeah, so we'll start about 9:30 and go well into the night. We stopped making calls at 8:45, but we're still entering data and all that stuff till it's done. So.
Yeah.
And how long is that? I feel like a lot of folks who might not have worked on elections might not know the whole data tracking side about it. About how long does that take?
Well, it depends. Data. Well, we had to enter data because Bernie actually came to Sioux City on the 19th, so we had to enter in all that data of people signing in. Takes a lot longer because you're reading people's handwriting than it is when it's your own data that you're entering in. So, I mean, really doesn't take that long if you're really diligent about it, but that data from the event took all day to enter in, especially because we're identifying new people, and having to do all that.
Heck yeah, so that sounds like you guys are putting in like 12+ hour days, and
Yeah.
does this go 7 days a week?
Yep, 7 days a week, 12-hour days, and it's crazy, but I don't know, I'll go to bed so tired, but wake up rejuvenated and ready to take on the world again. And I feel like that's how everyone in this office is. And except we definitely know we'll probably be in a hibernation slumber come February 2nd. Yeah.
Totally. And so, Claudia, you're still in high school. So what is a typical day for you as a volunteer on the campaign?
Well, I roll into the office usually around 3:30 or 4. So that's prime call time. That's when I'll be making identification calls to find the Bernie supporters. I'll do different odd things around the office because there's so much that has to get done. So really, whatever needs to get done, that's what I'm trying to do. And there's endless work, but I'm always excited to do it.
2101.
It's just great to see your work contribute to something so big.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Claudia, what is one of like the funnest things you've got to do as a volunteer?
Definitely just working with so many different people. In the past, I've gone to events trying to canvass, trying to find Bernie supporters. I've gone to basketball games. I've gone to movie showings, and you always meet really neat people. And also just getting to work with so many people here at the office. We're all like-minded people, and we all just get along great. There's definitely a spirit of teamwork.
Yeah.
That's so great to come into.
That sounds amazing.
It really is.
Great. So, like nationally in this political conversation, there's like all this talk about like feeling the burn, like it's pretty obvious at this point that there's like a great deal of enthusiasm around Bernie and his campaign. I'm wondering, what does that feel like on the ground there in Sioux City?
Yeah, it's incredible because, of course, all of us here are so energized and hyped up for Bernie because, we wouldn't be here if we weren't. But it's getting the people like that come off the street, or yesterday, Claudia and I were at the Women for Bernie side event, and just having all those people like beeping their horns, giving us thumbs up, and like he is turning out just a whole different crowd, and it's not just young voters, it's all ages, and just also kind of the people we've been able to garnish just from hearing him speak that might have been, swinging in a different direction, and they were like, nope, I heard him speak and I'm sold. It's like, it's crazy just the way that he can move people into this political revolution.
Yeah, there's definitely something unique about like Bernie and what's happening out there. So he was in Sioux City recently. Did you guys get a chance to meet Bernie?
We got to go, I would say, but like 30, about 20 to 30 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like 20 to 30 of us got picked.
You got to hear him speak in more private, personal environments. That was great.
Yeah, that was really great.
He took our questions. He's always really open to hearing what we think about this campaign and how we think it's going, which is great. He does look for input.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So that was like exciting. Like, even though I didn't get to really meet him, it was like he was within my arm's reach. Yeah. Which was like awesome.
That's so cool. I have not got a chance to meet Bernie yet, but it would be so incredibly exciting and probably like really inspiring and motivating. So I have a question for you, Paige. Since you're from, our WFP family out in Pennsylvania, I know that you normally organize with like labor groups and community groups around things like raising the minimum wage for Pennsylvania, passing like paid sick days, and finding and recruiting more like progressive champions to run for office. So I was wondering, like, in what ways do you think that your experience at WFP is like helping or enhancing the campaign out there in Sioux City?
It helps because I actually come with a lot of personal stories then too. I actually was able to talk to a caller over to Bernie's side by using the work that I do with working families, by like, talking to her about, what it's like for families to live at 1725, and also what it's like for families to not have like paid sick leave, or and so use like those experiences to bring with me. And also like every day I'm talking to different people, unless they're the people I've already built a relationship with. But other than that, like, I'm picking up a phone, calling hundreds of people, and hoping that one of them will like be a really good Bernie supporter, or getting a good person that wants to talk about the issues and make them realize that Bernie, is the one. And so that's really helped me be able to take that like part of organizing over into it, because I know I do a lot more hands-on out in the field work. So to be able to take that and then translate it over phone, or even knocking doors, which I do, it's just not as often as necessary as it is for, for a campaign.
Heck yeah. And there's also Matt Hansen from Maryland Working Families is out there in Sioux City with you.
Yeah, and I was saying he has a campaign experience, so he was definitely a good like little person to tag along with me to help me get geared up for this, because the whole time I was like, all right, so like what are we gonna be doing, like what's this gonna look like? So he was able to fill me in on a lot more campaign stuff than what I was used to.
Heck yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to some of our other WFP staffers who are out there in Iowa. So I know like Brennan Ward is working around Marion, Iowa City area, Cedar Rapids area, along with Harry Hansen. They're both from our Brooklyn office, so I like know those folks to see those folks every day. So if you're out there listening, Brennan and Harry, what's up? Hey, keep working really hard. My next question is for Claudia, actually. I was so excited to hear, that you're a high schooler and you're volunteering and you've been a part of this campaign for so long, and that you're so involved in politics at such a young age. It's like really, really inspiring. So I wanted to know about like sort of what your vision for the future is. So like if you can imagine a Bernie Sanders presidency for like 8 years, in what ways do you think that would affect your life for the next 8 years?
Okay, so first of all, I won't be struggling under crippling debt from student loans. The environment won't be falling to pieces. What else? There will just be a general sense of okayness. People won't be so worried about just struggling to get by. We'll be making grand plans for the future rather than planning against malaise and danger. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, that's totally true. I feel like for so long in the progressive left, we're always like fighting against the next big catastrophe. But what feels different about Bernie is that this is actually like building for a future.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Totally. So, and my next question for Claudia, as a high school student, are you going to be 18 in time for Caucus Day?
Yes. On election day, it will actually be my birthday.
Hey,
so I'll be 18 on election day.
That's awesome. So you're actually going to get to go on February 1st then in caucus for the first time.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm actually going to be a precinct captain, so I'm going to be overseeing things at my precinct caucus and making sure that all my people show up and that they stay in the room and know what's going on. So I'm super excited about that.
That sounds amazing. How does your family feel? Are they like really proud of you?
They're definitely excited to see that I'm doing something to contribute to something bigger than myself. I think a lot of kids my age, they're working regular jobs to be able to finance themselves. And I think they're excited that I have this opportunity to work towards something that I really want and think is important.
Heck yeah. And then maybe in the future, there's a shot for you to run for office too. You'd have my vote.
Thank you. I don't know about that, but I mean, if that were the case, I'm on the right track. I'm learning so much by working on this campaign. I'm really so grateful for everything.
That's great. And you never know. We're always looking for amazing folks, who really care about like progressive issues and fighting for families to like live and work in dignity, to like make sure that they get empowered, run for office all over the place. Even folks who might be listening and watching from home. You should think about it.
Remember that.
Awesome. So hundreds of people have been submitting questions for this live broadcast, and everyone is really interested and excited and curious about Iowa and what's going on the ground there. Rosie from New Jersey has a question about that actual caucus process. She asks if you guys expect a lot of first-time caucus goers, and if so, what sort of things are you guys putting in place to help like train people and navigate people through that process?
So we're actually expecting like a very large mass of first-time caucus goers, because that's the one thing about Bernie is like he's
so different. He's drawing in all the people that felt so disillusioned with government. He's drawing all of them in because he does create hope in them.
Yeah. Like I've had people that I've talked to that are well over 18, like in their 20s and 30s, that are caucusing for the first time because of Bernie. So we offer caucus trainings, not just for like our precinct captains. We actually just had 2. We had one on Tuesday and one last night. So it kind of not just gets precinct captains ready for for the first, but also goes over the whole process of what a caucus is, what it looks like, and to get them navigating, especially because you can actually go as a Republican to a Democratic caucus and vote in a Democratic.
You can register there that night. So let's see.
Yeah, so it's like definitely different than what Pennsylvania is.
And New York, we don't quite have caucuses like that. I'm an Iowa native, though. I grew up in Davenport, so I'm a little familiar with the whole caucus process. It's very fascinating. And next up, our next early primary state is Nevada. They have a caucus system that's pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're ready to hit the road even more, Paige, there's an opportunity after Iowa.
Hey.
Take the show on the road. So actually, one of the most pressing questions that everybody had in terms of prepping up for this live interview with you guys, people from all across the country want to know how they can get involved if they're not in Iowa right now. Is there anything that they can do to help out on the ground there for you guys?
We actually have a few out-of-state volunteers. The phone calls that we make to identify new Bernie supporters, they can be made from anywhere. They can be made from home, miles and miles away from Iowa. So that's a really big way to contribute, and a really easy way to contribute.
Yeah, like we have people from Nebraska and South Dakota that are helping to knock doors this weekend, or make phone calls, or even give rides. So coming in for people who we are trying to get out everybody. We really think it's crazy to not be able to caucus just because you can't get a ride into your precinct location. So have a lot of really awesome volunteers that are willing to do that. So that's always possible. And then also, if you have the means to go to a the hot ticket state to help out, we have someone from California, 2 people from Seattle. We have a couple from Oregon that drove in. We have people in here from all over the place. Really a handful of them are only from Iowa. And
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and there's a couple other I want to plug for a little bit for folks watching at home. There's ways if you can't make it to Iowa that you can even help remotely, campaign for Bernie. So just to let you know, if you RSVP to watch this interview, we're going to be sending an email immediately after with some links on how you can do some campaign calls from your own home. So be sure to look out for the email. That's going to be from me. But also there's a website, WFP4Bernie.com. So that's WFP, the number 4, Bernie.com. That's the way that you can get plugged in right in through the campaign with us to help make sure that we can get Bernie this nomination. So be sure to check that out too. And then in closing, I have one last question. Since this feels like it's such a historic political moment for the whole country, I'm wondering from your guys' experience on the ground there in Iowa, how do you think that we can keep a movement like this going beyond the presidential election and beyond 2016?
Well, we definitely got the spirit that would back this. People are so excited about this campaign. People are so excited about Bernie. I definitely think it will bleed into the future. People just want to keep this spirit going. People just want to keep the spirit of change going.
Yeah, definitely. And I just know from my organizing that having this, such a progressive person like Bernie, possibly, I'm actually not even gonna say possibly, become president. We're super confident here. You also trickles down to your state level. So definitely making sure you're getting in those local electeds to be just as energizing and just as effective and wanting for change as Bernie is. So definitely holding your elected officials accountable for that work, and really getting back down to the old grassroots organizing to make, that's how change happens. So
Yeah, totally. And that's sort of like WFP's like bread and butter, actually. Like, you know, we believe that like, you know, tomorrow's senators were today's city council members and school board members, which is why we like run in a lot of our different states, you know, as many sort of like progressive champions who are like not your average politician, but like a strong neighborhood community leader to actually like make that jump into running for local office, because down ballot is so important if we're really going to build this political revolution that Bernie Sanders is talking about.
Yeah.
Totally. So I want to say thank you so much to the both of you. Thank you, Paige, and thank you, Claudia. Congratulations on your first caucus, Claudia. I'm super excited for you.
Yay!
Awesome. And so you guys had a couple of things. I'm not sure if they're in arm's reach right now. We were talking earlier about all the Bernie campaign art. So there's this beautiful mural behind you guys. Check it out. Yes. Wow. But there's also like a Bernie puppet, right?
Oh, yes. I'll grab a little Bernie puppet.
And we have Bernie glasses.
Okay, unless he's really awkward. We have a little Bernie puppet.
Yeah. It's incredible how many people are just like so inspired to like paint and draw pictures and like make all these things, like where I see them on Twitter all the time. It's amazing.
It is crazy. And actually Matt is grabbing our, we're gonna see if he can get him, the paper mache Bernie that they took to the Force Awakens opening. It is like the best. They just dress him up like a Jedi. Yeah. So it is the best. Oh, yep, he's coming out. He's huge. And like, yeah, volunteers here love, like this was made by like a local volunteer here. And so it was the same with the paper mache Bernie. But they just love them. And
heck yeah.
For him.
I'm excited to hear that Star Wars fans were really into Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, a lot of our followers, a lot of Bernie's followers are pretty big nerds. That's where we find a lot of our following.
Here is, there's there's paper mache Bernie.
That is incredible.
Also Matt.
All right, I don't want to hold you guys too much up from work. I know there's a lot of work still to go for the rest of the day and heading into tomorrow and getting out the caucus votes. But thank you so much for getting on with me and for talking to give our supporters a good sense of what's going on the ground there. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you.
All right, awesome. We'll see you at the victory line.
Yes.
Awesome. Good night, you guys.
Oh, good night.
Good night.